This is going to be another astrological compatibility video, this time Capricorn and Libra. And interestingly enough, the first thing that comes to mind to me is that, especially with with any Libras that I've had any sort of dynamics with, is that both Capricorns and Libras have a strong appreciation for justice and balance in all things, and a strong appreciation for the intellectual sides of things. And so Capricorn and Libra is not a bad mixture. That being said, it's kind of like Capricorn and Cancer. Like, there are a lot of strong pulls in, but you either love each other or you hate each other. And I've seen much more compatibility in friendship and business between Capricorn and Libra. But there's been a few amount of strong relationships between Capricorn and Libra. I think the harder part is that Capricorn is really both an earth and a water sign, and Libra, it's interesting. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's not that there is no emotion in there, but it is typically very it's air qualities, like swords of the tarot, and so it's often much more to do with logic, and it's more about peacekeeping in a social way. And Capricorns typically don't care that much about peacekeeping in a social way. We very much care about social mores, but it's in a different sort of way. It's more like, if creating some contrast that triggers somebody is going to get in the way of what's good for the whole, then we would rather allow somebody to be upset about that if it's going to create progress. And also, we recognize that sometimes being triggered actually creates healing. Whereas Libra is much more about like the democracy of things and keeping the peace between everybody. And so it's not so much about will this help the whole, it's more about, like, is everybody happy? Is everybody safe? Is everybody doing this and that? And so that can create kind of a contrast. Also, Saturn and Venus in general as planets are not very well meshed together. It's kind of, you got Kronos from the old Greek pantheon, who is like Father Time, and about debts and things like that. Zeus's father, who tried to, eat Zeus and everybody else, whereas Venus, being Aphrodite, is all about love and beauty and aesthetics and art and things like that. And Saturn is much more about progress and karma and growth and things like that. And so they both have enough elements that it can be an okay relationship, but there's enough elements too that it could be a horrible disaster as well. And so it really just depends on what other elements are in there. It's a kind of a good relationship, much like some of Capricorn and Gemini, in the sense that it's a good relationship if you really want to examine the more intellectual sides of things. And if you as a Capricorn are okay with going more towards the socialite stuff and the intellectual side of things, like studying Enneagram and such things, and you're okay with not being a minimalist, like you being more luxurious, being more artsy, which many Capricorns are, then it probably work out really well. And especially if you share an appreciation for music, art, and things of that nature, you can have a really good relationship with a Libra, and vice versa, Libras you with Capricorns. Now, also on the other side of that, Libras, if you're more open to learning, how do I say this? What's the word? Delayed gratification, which it's not that you don't have any, but in comparison to a Capricorn, it's probably going to be very off-putting. Like, you probably would much rather save up to spend on a very nice portrait that you very much value, whereas Capricorn would much rather save that money in case of an emergency that might happen 10 years from now. And so it's not that either of you are wrong, but if you're willing to make more room for that, and to be more practical in your aesthetics, and to not worry so much if Capricorn isn't your trophy partner, or like very into pleasing your friends and things like that, then, you know, again, you guys can have a little more balance. Um, I will say, though, that even though there's no fire in it, that arguments between a Capricorn and a Libra can get very heated. So if you find that that is how things go between you and whether you're a Capricorn or a Libra, if that's how things go with you guys, it's probably, you probably have other incompatibilities in there also, and you definitely want to maybe look more to the Mars and Venus placements of each person to see overall if, you know, the Libra Capricorn balance is in there, because it is very much about balance, which makes sense. Ironically, both Libra and Capricorn have a lot to do with balance. I mean, to be a goat that climbs on the side of a mountain, it takes a lot of balance, and Libra is literally the scales and has to do with balance. Well, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. Let me know if you have any specific questions or would like any more like specific details, and otherwise I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.